Okay, so I got our beanie made, got the ends all weaved in, ready to go. So we're going to set this aside for the time being, and we're going to go ahead and make the nose. So we take our black yarn with a slip stitch, or slip knot rather, sorry. We get started, okay? And it says in the pattern, it says with the black yarn, chain 2. So 1, 2. And then we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook, which is the first chain that we did, and we're going to just do 1 single crochet into it, okay? 1 single crochet, there you go, okay? And that's it. And then it says to turn our, to chain 1, and then we're going to turn our work around, okay? And then for row 2, these are done in rows. So row 2, it says to chain 1, which we did that. I like to chain 1 before I turn, okay? And then it says now to do 2 single crochets into that stitch. 1 and 2. I know it's kind of difficult. This is black yarn, so it's kind of difficult to see what I'm doing, okay? And then for the edge, and then that's it. So then for the edging, it says to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet around in each stitch around, and 3 single crochets in each corner, and then join in the first stitch around. Okay, so let's see. So we chained 1, and so now I'm going to do 3, and we're actually at a corner. So I'm going to do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, oops, 3. Okay, and now I'm going to do 1 there in the side. We're going to end up with a triangle. See if you see mine there. We're going to end up with a triangle shape. Okay, and then at the in the very bottom, which is like where the starting chain was, I'm going to do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then I'm going to single crochet at the side, going over my straggler piece. Okay, now we're up toward the top again. So in the first single crochet that we had, we're going to do 3 single crochets there. We're still working over the straggler. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we're going to slip stitch into the first, wait a minute, no. Got 1 more stitch there. So now we have the center top. We want to do 1 single crochet in there because we're making a triangle. Well, kind of a triangular shape, yeah. And then we're going to do slip stitch into our starting single crochet. Okay, so there you go. It's just kind of a triangular shaped piece, okay? And I know you can see those 2 holes right there, but when I stitch it onto my hat, I'm going to fill in that area when I'm stitching, and so then you won't see that through, okay? And then let's see, join first, and then that's it. So that's all of the nose piece. So I'm going to finish off my yarn, cut it off, but I'm going to leave a pretty good sized tail so then I can sew it onto the hat. So chain 1 and pull my yarn all the way through and pull tight, and there's our kind of triangular shaped nose piece. Okay, so I'm set that aside, and the next thing we're going to do are the ears. Okay, so for the ears, I made my pom-poms ahead of time using my pom-pom maker, and I made 2 black pom-poms. Okay, and like I said, I will link a tutorial in the description box below that will show you, take you to a tutorial on how to actually do the pom-poms using the pom-pom maker. And if you have other ways you like to do pom-poms, then feel free. But they are about 2 inches in diameter, or at least the pom-pom maker I used was a 2-inch pom-pom maker. Okay, so I've got those. So we have the 2 ears and we have the nose piece, and now we're going to do the eye patches. Okay, So we need 2 of those. In the pattern they call it a black eye marker, but it's a patch, or I guess I call them patches. Anyway, so we're going to take our black yarn and we're going to start with a slip knot. Okay, and then we're going to chain up 3 this time. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, now it says to single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So it's that one right there in the middle, because you have 3 of them there. So you single crochet there, and then it says 3 single crochets into that same stitch. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you're going to have a total of 4 single crochets into that second chain from the hook. And then so you have 1 chain left there, and then so in that chain, that last chain, which is actually the first one we made, we're going to put 4 single crochets in there. 1. Oh, my scissors out of the way. Okay. 2, working over the straggler. We're going to kind of go around the edge there. 3 and 4. Okay, and then it says on the back side of that chain, we're going to double crochet into that same space that we put those 4 single crochets. So we're going to double crochet in there. Okay, and then it says 3 double crochets in the next stitch. So we're on the back side of that chain. So now we're going to do 3 double crochets into the next stitch. So 1, 2, doing double crochets, and 3. Okay. It's kind of, you're almost going to be like kind of making like a long, like a teardrop shape patch. Okay, with these double crochets at the bottom. And then it says to slip stitch into the first single crochet that you made to join. Okay, so see how it kind of made a full place at the bottom, and then toward the top it's more pointed. Okay, and you can kind of manipulate your stitches a little bit to get the shape that you want. Okay, and so now we're going to fasten this off and leave a tail for sewing. Chain 1, pull our yarn through, pull it tight. Okay, so now you can pause the video and make another one of these, because you need 2 of these patches. So you can rewind and follow my directions, or you can go to the written pattern, refer to that, and get your other patch made. Okay, and I will meet you back up when you get finished with that. Okay, so now we are going to attach the ears. And we want to center it on the top, the 2 pom-poms at the top of the head. Okay, and I have 2 strands left of my pom-poms where I tied them together. Okay, and so I'm going to get those and pull those ends to the inside, and I want to attach mine to between round 2 and round 3 of my hat. Oops, and I'm in frame here, sorry. Okay, so I want to attach mine between round 2 and round 3 on both sides of my hat. See that? Okay, so the way I do that is I get my hook, or actually, well, you can do that, or you can use a yarn needle. Let's use that. Okay, so this is one side of it. So if I'm going to put it between row 2 and row 3, I want to insert my needle into where round 2 is, and just bring it all the way through to the inside of the hat. Okay, see that? And then I'll take my needle off that piece of yarn, and go ahead and yarn or thread the other end through the needle. And now I want to put it down right next to that stitch and bring it into the inside of the hat. Okay, so that's all you have to do. And now you turn it to the inside and go ahead and tie off your yarn. Get it on there pretty firm, and go ahead and tie it off into like a double knot. You can do that. Okay, and then clip it short, and then you do the same thing for the other side. See? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish off that earpiece, and just off camera. I'll do that off camera. But what I want to go ahead and do is I want to show you how you can make an ear just crocheted on, okay? And if you want to do that instead of the pom-pom, okay? So let me get prepared. I'll be right back, and I will show you how you can make an optional ear so you don't have to use a pom-pom if you don't want to, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, so if you want to make a regular bear ear, I guess you'd say, you can follow, actually I'm following the pattern for the ear that I did for the polar bear tutorial. And this is also by CreamieTheCropCrochet.com. Okay, so in order to make a crocheted ear, you can start with a slip knot and chain 2, 1, 2, and then it says 5 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then we're going to join into the first single crochet that we made, counting back from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right in there. Okay, so join with a slip knot, chain 1, and now do 2 single crochets in each stitch around. That will give you 10 stitches all together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oops, lost my needle, hook, 8, and then 9 and 10. I know it's hard to see with black yarn. Okay, but a panda does have black ears though, so. Okay, and now we want to slip stitch into the first single crochet on the round with a slip stitch. Okay, chain 1, and now for rows 3 and 4, we're going to single crochet in each stitch around, okay? So you're still going to have 10 stitches. So let's go ahead and do that. So that's 1, 2, try to go kind of quick here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that's one row. That was row 3. So join with a slip stitch into the first single crochet. Okay, and now repeat this row on row 4, and you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to do 10 single crochets all the way around. Okay, and I will meet you back up when I'm finished with that row. Okay, so I just finished row 4. I'm going to chain, and I joined in with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Now I'm going to chain 1, and now for the last round, which is round 5, you're just going to single crochet decrease all the way around, so that will bring you back to 5 stitches again. Okay, I like to do an invisible decrease. I think that's what they call it. Anyway, I insert my hook. The very first one is a little bit fiddly to get in there, but I insert my hook in the front loop only of the first stitch, and then I also put it in the front loop only of the second stitch, and then I do my single crochet. So there's 1, and then do the same thing, front loop only, and then front loop only of the next stitch. And then do a single crochet. So there's 2, and then front loop only of that stitch, front loop only of the next stitch, and do a single crochet. That's 3, 2 more of those. So front loop only, single crochet. That's 4, and 1 more. Front loop only, single crochet. Okay, and then you're going to go to the beginning and you're going to join to the first single crochet. Oops, with a slip stitch. Okay, so there's your ear. So if you prefer, you can make an ear like that. So you cut your yarn, leave a tail for sewing, chain 1, pull it all the way through, tighten it up to fasten it off, roll the ear around that a little bit so that way this tail is on the edge of the ear, see? And so you could make 2 of those using that pattern, and then see you can sew that on this in the same area, and you can make the ear like that as well. I mean, if you want to, instead of using the pom-pom. I just think the pom-poms, that's what it calls for in the pattern, and I think they're super cute. But if you don't have a pom-pom maker and don't want to use a pom-pom maker or make a pom-pom, then you can just make the ear according to this pattern I just gave you and sew those on. Okay, so I'm going to finish sewing on my pom-poms for my second ear there, and then I will meet you up when we start sewing on the other facial features. Okay, so I got my ear pom-pom sewed on, or tied on actually, and now I'm going to take my nose piece, which is a triangular piece, and I'm going to place it onto my beanie, and I want to get the bottom of it right where the ribbing starts. Okay, and you want to kind of center it between the ears. Okay, so I'm going to hold it down with my thumb kind of in the place that I want it, and then I'm going to go ahead and sew it on. Just doing in and out all the way around. Sometimes I like to do it however you like to do it. Sometimes I turn my hat upside down so I can get to the edges better. And if you have these 2 openings like I do, well, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I can kind of see some white yarn through there, so I can go, since this is all solid black, I can go here into the middle and kind of fill in that area. So I don't see that, like that, see? And I have a spot right there in the middle too. Okay, so just finish stitching that on all the way around, and then you can fasten off on the inside and trim off your ends, and I will meet you up when it's time to put on the eye patches. Okay, so I've got finished sewing on the nose, and now I'm going to take my other needle, the one that I know will fit through my buttonholes, and I'm going to go ahead and attach the eyes to my eye patches. Okay, so that way it'll be easier to sew on when I'm sewing on the eye patch to the hat. Okay, so I'm going to use some white yarn to sew on that, to sew on the buttons. Okay, so I need to cut the length of white yarn, and I think my buttonhole is big enough to get the whole entire yarn through there, so I'm going to try that. Otherwise I will split the yarn if I need to and make it smaller. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and split my yarn into 2. It has 4 strands to it, and so I'm going to go ahead and separate it into 2 strands each. I'll get enough piece here that I can use. Okay, and then I'm going to use that to thread my needle, and that's what I'm going to use to sew on my eye. Okay, and so the top part of my eye patch is where I connected the when I joined to end that round. So I want to put my eye, I don't want to put it in the middle of that eye patch. I want to put it up at the top edge like I did this one. See, I did it up at the top edge. Okay. And then I'm just going to sew on my eye. I'm going to leave some string, some of the yarn in right there to tie it off when I get finished. So I'm going to go ahead and sew in and out through the buttonholes a few times, 2 or 3 times, just so you feel like it's secure. Just one more time. So now I will do the other one the same way. I want to attach it right at the top edge of that eye patch, see? And then I will place it onto my hat, yarn my black yarn in my yarn needle, and then sew on the eye patch, okay? And I will go ahead and show you that part. Okay, so where I want the eye patches, I want it above the nose, and then I also want it to, but I want them to kind of point in like this direction toward each other a little bit, like that, see? So, kind of hold the thumb down, my thumb down. Well, of course, I can get my other one and kind of show you, see? That way they'll be kind of facing each other, okay? And I'm going to stitch that down. So I'm going to hold it with my thumb, and then I'm going to go ahead and go into the hat, and I'm just doing an in and out whip stitch. And after you do a few stitches, make sure you check to make sure, oops, I'm on camera, sorry. Make sure you check and that the eye patch is the right angle that you want it, okay? So you can adjust it if you need to before you get it sewn all the way on. Just like that. Okay. So let me show you how it's looking. Okay, so I'm going to finish stitching all the way around this, and I'm going to go and get my other white yarn, and I'm going to attach my other white button, if I can find it, here it is, to this eye patch the same way I did the other one, and I'm going to sew that eye patch on, and then we will be finished with the hat. Okay, so I'll be right back when I get finished. Okay, so here is our little hat. Thank you so much for following this tutorial, and thank you to creamofthecrop.com for giving me permission to make the tutorials on their patterns. So please go over and check out their website. They have many free patterns with some really great accessory patterns like headbands, other hats, baby hats, doll, the 18-inch like American Doll type hats, and accessories. They have adult size. They have a really pretty shawl that I've been looking at, also making. Anyway, they have some really great free patterns. So please go over and check out their patterns and use some patterns to crochet. Okay, so thank you for following my tutorial, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.